Good morning, boys and girls. How are you this morning? I know you're feeling very excited because I am. We have been waiting for this puppet show for such a long time. So please put your hands together and let's welcome Teresa and her puppet, Brooklyn.
Thank you all so much. I'm Teresa and this is Brooklyn. And today we're going to learn about the 5 senses. I'm so excited! I can't wait! Wait a minute! Stop the show! What was that? That was an act of kindness. What's kindness? Kids, can you help me teach Brooklyn about kindness?
The best of life, you light a spark, it grows. See the colors all around, and it looks like rainbows. Kindness feels fluffy and reminds me of a bunny. It can make you feel warm, just like a day that's sunny. Kindness is beautiful. It helps us to thrive. It makes all the love we have inside come alive. Kindness smells like chocolate cake, so sniff that yummy scent. If you want to know the recipe, I'll tell you what I meant. Kindness, patience, goodness, calm are ingredients you'll find. Be grateful, friendly, understanding, that's how you can be kind. Kindness is beautiful. It helps us to thrive. It makes all the love we have inside come alive. Kindness tastes like ice cream and the flavor is so sweet. You can dish some out to all the people that you meet. Just like a crackling fireplace, it makes me feel relaxed. How does kindness make you feel? I never even asked.
You're kind of putting me on the spot here. Okay. I think kindness is the song that sounds within my heart. Yeah. When I'm lonely, scared, or sad, it gives my smile a start. Kindness is beautiful. It helps us to thrive. It makes all the love we have inside come alive. Kindness is beautiful. It helps us to thrive. It makes all the love we have inside come alive.
I am obsessed.
Kindness is beautiful, causes us to thrive, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Kindness is beautiful, brings the love inside us live, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh.
That was an epic singer. Go ahead, Macho.
First time I heard that song, it's catchy. I love it. I picked it up along the way, and I just say it. Welcome to the Now Show, Hillary Rousseau, Dan, the man. I'm also Joseph Mojo McCarthy, and producer Mary is hidden somewhere along here, but she's
somewhere. Yeah.
keeping the chat alive. So welcome to the Now Show. This is our 5th week, episode 2 of this week, which means 22 episodes in, and Hillary is here to join us right here, right now. Over to you, Dan.
Yeah, so my name is Dan Roeder. I'm the Chief Academic Officer for the David Z Foundation, where we transform lives through the magic of music. I'm also a composer, PEAR-former, and edu-creator, and I could not be more thrilled to have Hillary here with us. I'm going to actually, I was telling Mojo how excited I am about this. I'm going to read an official bio from Hillary. So, because I love your work, and it's so well written. Here we go. Hillary Russo is a trauma-informed, holistic practitioner, transformational coach, and health and wellness journalist. She's one of only 50 certified Havening technique trainers in the world, and also a certified Havening techniques practitioner. Havening, pronounced like Haven, is a neuroscience-based touch therapy and rapidly rewires the brain, builds resiliency, and de-encodes trauma. Her media and military background give her firsthand experience working with clients on secondary trauma and stress and burnout for optimal work-life balance. Hillary is also an international speaker and health and wellness journalist. Her globally top-rated, top 1.5% podcast, Holistically Speaking, is inspiring conversations of trauma to triumph through health, healing, and humor, what it takes to be a happy and healthy grown-up. Hillary's signature Hug It Out method motivates you to find self-healing through humor, understanding, and gratitude with clarity, confidence, and calm. So Hillary, I just want to kind of, isn't it like great to be here?
We have a real guest. Woo!
I was obsessed in the first 3 minutes when I saw Teresa with the puppet, because as you know, we both know Teresa from our Daily Burn days, which is the live streaming fitness show we did. And quite frankly, I adore Teresa. She's so talented. So when I saw her sitting there with the puppet, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yes. I promised joy.
Yes, total joy. And I was totally singing along. Suddenly I knew the lyrics, which is a good song when you can pick up the lyrics really fast.
Good.
And then my brain starts turning. I'm like, oh, I need to get Dan to write a song for me.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm game. Yeah.
Love it.
I'll help.
Yeah.
Oops, I didn't mean to cover your face. Sorry, Hillary.
It's all about collaboration. That's what the world is about. It's being in a huge positive collective and collaboration, right?
Yes. Yes. In fact, to your point, Hillary, I think that the two main vitamin C's all of us need every day is connection and contribution, which actually, if you put those together, connection and contribution is collaboration. 2 C's in 1. Ooh, there we go.
That is so
like
true.
That.
And
love that.
We did have C is for Cookie opera style. I think that was Friday, right? You can always check back in Chat Mosa, which we want to just invite folks to the listening lounge. If you're seeing this live, please to support the show, just share it out. That's all we ask. And we're actually connected through 6 different platforms of Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Microsoft, Google, and TikTok. I'm going to be able to say that just like the ingredients in a Big Mac someday.
Hold the.
Yeah, you're gonna wrap it off one of these days.
Again,
Mary, you kind of broke up a little. We want to highlight you too, Mary. So can you introduce yourself? This is Awesome Mary, the one and only Awesome Mary.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm Awesome Mary. I go by Awesome Mary on all the platforms. Nice to meet you, Hillary.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Awesome Mary.
Hey, today's a bad hair day, so I'm
too.
like,
it's all good.
Girl,
I'm
own
having
it.
a great hair day.
Own
It's
it.
just very short.
and
I'm just glad I have.
so
Yeah.
I live in Colorado. I work from home. Am I breaking up?
You're good.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. And yeah, so I'm having fun with these guys and everybody that we meet. Every day is somebody new. When we do have a guest, and when we don't have a guest, we just kind of just have fun. We have fun being creative and just chatting, and yeah, I'm learning a lot.
Well,
So thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Also super humble. Producer Mary became Producer Mary from Awesome Mary. She's Awesome Producer Mary. Just organically, the genesis of this show was just kind of an idea like, hey, we know a bunch of people who want to do cool things. Let's do things around music, mental health, wellness, all the things. And Mojo just kind of accepted the call after one text message, and then Mary came on like day one and was like, "Hey, what's going on? This is like, where do I go?" and stuff like that. And so she's been helping us kind of put this all together. This little this mind baby. So
We're creating mind.
Love it.
yes. So I do want to just take a moment. Thank you to our sponsors, which is PEAR-coin. And that's who is making this possible to be on all these platforms on Chatmosa. And that is another, I would call them a partner at this point, right, Mojo and Mary, that we are able to connect with a lot more people and have these really important conversations. And the purpose is to highlight creators, entrepreneurs, and change makers in the world. And Hillary, I just want to kind of, kick off the discussion with salad. So we mentioned Big Macs earlier. Do you know how to order a salad at McDonald's? This is a trick question. Don't worry.
I don't go to McDonald's.
That's the right answer. No, I'm just kidding. But
Isn't
I sometimes, so I have a teenager now, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
And sometimes we end up there, and I don't eat McDonald's food other than like salads, and they don't have salads anymore. And so I asked the person at the counter, "How do you order a salad?" And she said, "Okay, we get this a lot. You have to order a Big Mac and hold the bun, hold the burger, extra lettuce, extra tomatoes, and extra cheese, and then we have ranch dressing." I'm like, cool. So that's health and wellness. That's where I'm going with this. So, making those choices to make your brain happy. We met, like you mentioned, on Daily Burn, and it was just like, it was so cool to actually be in the studio with you. I think 2 or 3 times.
You were. And on the screen behind us, the big screen.
Right.
Remember?
Oh yeah, like several times. Yep.
Right. That was cool.
Yeah, and so that's also how Teresa. Did you meet Teresa before that, or did you meet on the show?
No, we met during Teresa and I are OGs of Daily Burn. We were there day one when the show was in beta, not even on yet, and we had 2 weeks of just intense workouts, not knowing what to expect. And so, we always call ourselves like the OGs of the show because there weren't that many that lasted as long as we did.
That's awesome. And I mean, that's, I think, the energy of creativity, right? Like nobody's done it before. So you have to have confidence in other ways. You don't have a model for what to do, so you have to figure out what actions to take. So I want to just kind of drill down into what does a day in the life of Hillary look like, and what are you passionate about? What do you want to do with life questions here, Hillary?
A day in the life is never the same with Hillary, but I have to say I start every day with 2 minutes of gratitude. 2 minutes of gratitude. Awesome. If I'm going to start structure, part of that is because that scientific study that show that starting your day with gratitude can actually create more happiness in your day 6 to 8 hours later. That was a Harvard Research Review study. And if you ever read the book, The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker, he talks about that. That was part of his study. So I've been doing that ever since I read the book, which was years ago. And the whole idea is that when you start your day with 2 minutes of gratitude, before you even put your feet on the floor, it's going to put you into a much better day, right? And it's not just about gratitude for things outside of yourself. You really paying attention to what your gratitude comes from within, right? So it's, what do you appreciate about you? How are you serving the world? What are you putting out there? How often do we give ourselves appreciation and gratitude? Not often. So when you start that way, and of course, havening, which we'll talk about, that's another thing I start with. I meditate, I do gratitude, I do my self-regulation, and I really start the day that way. Put my feet on the floor, and then the day goes, depending on what the day is, it's never the same, So, but I think that's the way I have to start the day every day.
Yeah, over to you, Mojo. I know you have a response to that because we were talking about happiness last week.
Absolutely. Well, happiness and gratitude gratitude and happiness are so intertwined. And I love the fact that gratitude is available to everybody all the time, regardless of socioeconomic status. It doesn't matter what your age, your background, even what your brain power is. It doesn't matter. Gratitude, saying thank you, right? Everybody can do that. And I love that what Hillary said was, it's not just about thankful for what I have, it's thankful for who I am. In fact, I would ask Hillary to answer this question, but what if you were to choose one is more important? Thankful for what's out there or thankful for what's in here? I think we all know this answer, but it seems pretty obvious.
Do we?
But we all
Do
need to be reminded, right? Because actually,
Yeah,
yeah. I just wonder.
it's absolutely about your self-gratitude, because how can you be grateful if you're specifically, it's almost like with, we talk a lot about self-love too in this day and age. If you're relying on others to bring your happiness, to bring things that you're grateful for, if you're relying on things outside of yourself, that's putting a lot of power and pressure and taking the power away from you.
Right.
If you have gratitude for who you are and how you show up in the world, if you have gratitude for the things that you are offering, then that is going to expand. It's abundance, right? It's the same thing with kindness. Be kind to yourself, love yourself. And these are all things that I talk about in my Hug It Out method, which is a signature method I use in my everyday, but also with my clients and anytime I'm sharing with other people. It begins within.
So
yes,
so a couple things I want to just share about that, which is so good, is that the things outside of me I cannot control.
That's right.
Those things are all happening, and I can be grateful for many of them. In fact, quite honestly, I think with a little bit of attention, I can be grateful for all of them, even the ones that suck, because they're all part of who I'm enjoying. This part of the life that I'm enjoying, right? But what I can control, as Viktor Frankl told us, the one thing I can't control, what I can take away from me, is my power to choose my attitude, right? And gratitude is an attitude. So it's taking Viktor Frankl's amazing book and putting it into one simple word: gratitude for me. If I can be grateful for me, I've already set my attitude for whatever happens on the outside. And so I can't say how important that is.
And by the way, for those who are unfamiliar, but I think we all learned about this in school, Viktor Frankl is a Holocaust survivor who wrote A Man's Search for Meaning. And that is such a powerful book. And it's so true. Like, you can be in the worst of circumstances, but there's one thing that you own. There's one thing you own in life. That's it. And it's your mind and your thoughts. And nobody else can control that. And the way I always rephrase it is that you basically have eminent domain and you own one piece of real estate, and this is it. Yeah. Anything else can be taken from you. Maybe you don't own, maybe you rent, maybe you lease, but nobody owns this except for you. So your thoughts are really important. Thoughts becomes things. Thoughts can lead to the positive road or the negative road. And look, our brain is designed to go to the negative. That's what keeps us alive and safe. That sweet little amygdala, we call her Amy in the world.
Oh, Amy.
Amy loves to be triggered, but you know what? When Amy's triggered, she's doing her job. But it's up to us to say, hey, maybe this path might be more well-traveled. Maybe more people go this way. But just because it goes that way doesn't mean that's really the safer road. It just feels safe. Uncertainty doesn't feel safe.
Yeah. So I want to jump on what you said. You said that might be the road that's more familiar or more traveled. So immediately I go to the poem, The Road Less Traveled. That made all the difference. It ends with
great poem.
I took the road less traveled, and that makes all the difference. It's exactly what you're saying. So
well, yeah. And also it's it's the path of most resistance often, because the path of least resistance is the one where we just kind of end up there by not making decisions. And we've been talking about that a lot lately too. And since our thoughts are so powerful, and we really start with that internal dialogue, that internal motivation, and that self-worth, self-efficacy, all the selves, it's really easy to take the road most traveled, which is the path of least resistance. So taking the path of most resistance can just be a sign that maybe we're headed in the right direction, because it's going to cause us to grow. It stimulates growth.
And to dance.
And it's standing in the tension. Like, when you're standing in the tension of something, that's really when you're on the verge of change. When you're standing in the resistance, that is when the subconscious and the conscious mind are kind of playing a dance together, right? So if you are standing there, like kind of on the edge of the ocean, right? You have a number of choices. And I use this analogy a lot. When we're in the overwhelm, which is a wave, the whelm, you have a number of choices. You can retreat, but nothing changes if nothing changes. You can try to go around a wave, but that's almost impossible. Where does a wave end that you can go around it? You can try to go over it, but most of the time you get hurt and tumbled back, or you can put your hands together like an arrow and dive straight through. And that's taking a risk and saying and reminding that relationship you have with Amy, the amygdala, that, okay, you know what? We can take this risk if it's an executed. And obviously, you want to make rational decisions. You're not going to dive straight through if you know it's like a closed enclosement of sharks. But if you know that there's open possibilities ahead, open waters, there's much more possibility ahead of you rather than I just want to stay in this moment right here, right? Because uncertainty is scary, but that's where change happens.
Yeah. Wow. Good. So the visual in my mind as you're talking, Hillary, is I've been at the beach many times. I live in Southern California. And if I stand firm against the waves, it slaps me pretty hard. It can knock me down, right? But you said put your hands together and dive into
through. Yeah.
Come on.
That's a powerful word.
Such a great analogy because most of us either run away or we do stand there thinking that I'm strong enough to handle it, and I'm not. Knocked down. But if I dive into the wave, right? And just think of that in terms of the metaphor there. When the waves of resistance come against us, I've learned to reframe resistance as resistance training. How do you build muscles? Through resistance training. So resistance isn't something to be afraid of or avoid or even to just suffer through. It's something to embrace as it's training me. It's building my emotional resilience and my spiritual resilience. It's resistance training. So then I'm not mad at the world because all the resistance actually is for my benefit. What do you think?
That's right.
I will just hop in real quick, and then I'll pass it back to you, Hillary. But this little discourse that you guys are having reminded me of an image that I saw when I was reading an Adam Grant thing. I read Adam Grant a lot, and so it was a picture, a little comic of this pool of sharks. And a whole bunch of students in there. I was a teacher in the pandemic. That's what it's about. And then the teachers on the shore saying like, just waving and be like, have resilience. And then meanwhile, there's these kids in shark infested waters. And so, there's a lot of times, I think it illustrates the point that connectivity and connection, that true connection, really is not just a powerful pair to resilience, but I would say in many times it's necessary to have that connection because we're hardwired for it. We're hardwired to eat, we're hardwired to sleep, we're hardwired to go to the bathroom, and we're hardwired to connect. So back to you, Hillary.
Yeah, I love everything that you just said. And going back to the whole analogy too of the wave, I mean, what you had just said, Mojo, of diving in, what I didn't finish saying is what's on the other side of a wave usually is calm waters.
Calm waters, right?
The biggest fear is facing the wave.
Yeah.
The resilience is like just taking that deep breath and diving through, So.
But here's I think this leads right into your havening, which I don't know what that is. I'm so curious to find out.
We're gonna go there.
Share.
She's gonna share.
But hold on a second. Just this conversation is leading right into there. And by the way, for those who are listening, we didn't script any of this. This is all just organic. It's all we're creating this conversation on the fly. But you talked about you dive through the wave and you get to the calm on the other side. But if you don't know that technique, right? So I didn't learn how to dive through a wave until I started observing the people who knew what to do. They've been at the beach before. I grew up in Montana. I never been to the beach before. So I get to the wave and it's seriously, it's hammering me. I'm getting somersaulted up and down. I'm like, this is so hard, right? And then I start watching these guys who've been at the beach their whole lives, and the wave comes and it's huge, and they duck down and they go through the wave and they come up and as if it didn't even happen. And I'm like, well, what's the difference? They knew something I didn't know. They knew there's a way, there's a technique, and it's not hard. It's available to everybody. So I think that leads into havening, even though I don't know what havening is. So back to you.
Well, I'll tell you all about that.
Yeah.
Good
so
segue.
can you give us like the overview, and then we're going to actually dive into your website, and if there's anything you can kind of navigate me where you want folks to go. But what's havening?
Are we auditing my website?
Yes, we are. No, and we're not. It's publicly audited. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I need to do a revamp on it. So havening is a psychosensory neuroscience-based approach. By psychosensory, I mean that it uses one of the senses, which is touch. And havening, as I mentioned, as you mentioned, actually in the bio, it's pronounced havening, right? Like a safe haven, because it's a transitive verb of the word haven, a safe place. We create safe places all around us in life, right? The house you live in, the car you drive, the neighborhood, the people you surround yourself with, the job that feels safe. But the one thing we forget about is creating safety here with our thoughts, right? That's where you have to befriend your amygdala. So that safe place of havening is a very simple technique that can be self-applied to self-regulate and self-soothe for self-care. And it's like you're washing your hands. We can do it together. You'll feel better right after you try doing it. Or even giving yourself a hug from your shoulders down to your elbows. Yeah. You're hugging it out right now. Or even touching your face, like putting on lotion or giving yourself a nice facial massage. If you do it this way, it feels a little different, almost like someone is doing it to you.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
You're like,
Whoa.
oh, warm fuzzies, right? So if touch is one of your love languages, that's a good one, because suddenly it feels like, like a nurturing motherly touch. So any or all three of these touches, hands, arms to shoulders, or face, is the havening touch. When you pair this touch with a positive thought, a pleasant distraction, and that could be anything. That could be singing, because that activates the vagus nerve. That could be counting to 20 or doing the alphabet, watching out the window the cars going by, or if you're really good at visualization, close your eyes and pretend you have a first-class ticket to the place you want to go in your mind. And just by that distraction, you are releasing oxytocin, which is the love hormone, serotonin, dopamine, GABA. You're lowering your cortisol levels, you're lowering your adrenaline, and you're actually producing more of the delta waves in your brain, which are the slowest moving brain waves. That's sleep state. So more of the delta waves being produced, less of like the gamma, which are do, 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 like that's do, 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 right?
Yeah.
Delta's like B, 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 B,
Yeah.
right? Like that's how I like to look at it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You and Mojo are like kindred spirits.
Right? So
So-
when you're doing this touch and if you are in an upset, or if you're confronted with something, maybe you're stressed or you're overwhelmed, just applying the touch and taking your brain elsewhere out of the upset will actually create this neuroplasticity. You're creating new neural pathways, right? And you're lessening and you're weakening that response that the amygdala tends to get after those neurons are wiring and firing, right? Very different from like just traditional psychotherapy or psychopharmacology. This is psychosensory, which means it uses your senses to make this change in your brain.
Yeah, I know that Mojo's going to want to tell us a little bit about the connection that just happened, because I love connections like that. Remember, we're hardwired for it.
So
Go ahead, Mojo.
in one of the shows that we've had already, I made this observation that Frank Sinatra had it backwards, because he used to sing doobie doobie doo. He put the do before the be. And what you're saying, and I agree, I couldn't agree more, is you flip that, because really the do should come after the be. Be, do, be, do, be. And if I get the be first, the doing is much better. If I do the do first, the be starts to suffer. So I say be, do, be. Anyway.
That's exactly right. And it's so funny. I think about that song too, because the one thing that actually that we forget about that comes even after that, if there's things you want in your life, whether it's to be more productive or happier or better job, better relationships, just better way of being, those are things you want to have, right? So you have to be in order to do, in order to have. So maybe it should be be, do, have.
Oh, there we go. Level up. Yeah, no, that's incredible. And our self is the one thing we take with us everywhere. There's nowhere we go in life without ourself, whether we're aware of it or not. So this is a gift to Mojo. I'm being aware of the time. I want to start. We're already getting into like the wrap up energy, Hillary. This has been so fun. But what we like to do is we like to draw. And drawing, I think, is another really great creative outlet. I'm just curious, this is also an on the fly thing. It was not homework. Do you have anything that based on our conversation or things that you are passionate about that we've talked about that you would like us to draw as a prompt? And then we have a special thing we do with it. So what do you think?
Hug it out.
Yeah, there we go. Simple childlike. Yes.
Hug it out. Yes. Well, speaking
Tell
of hug it
me
out.
what hug it out means to you. That's the thing. Like this can be incorporated in any place, any time, whether you're 5 years old or 85 years old.
Ooh.
Yeah. And we probably need to talk about that though, right?
Well, yeah, and I'll get the thing loaded while we talk about it.
Sure. You want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah,
Go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
Awesome. So Hug It Out is my signature method that I use, and it does incorporate things like havening techniques. It's different kinds of techniques and tools that you can use to be a happy and healthy grown-up. And Hug It Out is basically an acronym for humor, understanding, and gratitude, because we're all on this healing journey, right? Whether you are just born until the day you leave this earth and whatever happens to us afterwards, we are constantly on a healing and growing journey. But in order to be healing and in order to be open to growing, you have to have a little humor in the everyday. Even the things that seem terrible and upsetting and just the worst in the moment, when you come out of it, you're able to look back at it and be like, okay, was that as bad as I thought? Is there somewhere I can find a little humor in the learning and take something from this experience? So that's the humor, right? Then there's understanding, and understanding is basically your core values. Who are you? How are you showing up in this world? If you had a song when you walked in a room that was like your entry song, and you hear it in your mind, but you're like, this whole room is like, right? That's the understanding. You don't need to explain to people who you are. You know who you are, and you're showing up with your true core values. And I actually have a nice little challenge that I do with folks to help them work on those core values, what they show up with every day. And then there's the gratitude. And this goes back to how we started this conversation. It's not about gratitude outside of yourself, because it's very easy to say that you're grateful for this and you're grateful for that and the things outside of you. It's harder to sit there in the tension and say, you know what? I'm really grateful for myself for X, Y, and Z, right? When you bring it back to yourself, you're building resilience. You're realizing I have a purpose in this world. What is my purpose and my passion? And that's really what it means to hug it out with yourself.
Ooh,
That is so cool.
All this is like making my body tingle. So good. It's so good. But you know, this idea of having this theme song when I walk in the room, right, in my head, because if you're a baseball fan, you'll know that now in Major League Baseball, when a pitcher gets called out of the bullpen and he's making that long trip from the bullpen, which is usually out in the outfield somewhere, to the mound, and the whole game is suspended there for a few minutes while the pitcher comes in to warm up, there's a theme song for the pitcher. The pitcher chooses it, and the whole stadium, that song is blaring. And after a while, if you're a fan of a team for very long, you know the theme song of the pitcher. When the closer comes in and that rock and anthem comes on and the whole crowd's just cheering on, singing the song to that person that's coming in to do his job, right? And I thought, how cool would that be in everyday life? You walk in to do your job and the whole team is singing your song like, yeah, this is our closer. Come on in, do your thing. And we're just cheering on, rather than our typical thing is like, I could do that better, or he's not all that, or whatever it is. It's just, we can flip the mentality. Go, Dan.
Yeah, I know. Right. I got to hop in there too. And that I have a case in point. My second grade teacher, who is my favorite teacher of all time, Mrs. Betty Punzak, she actually, every time we came in the room or left the room, we had our theme song. And mine was Daniel Boone. And so she would grab her guitar, and if she didn't have a song that was, particular, she found for almost everybody had their own like little theme song. But otherwise, she used the like Mark, Bo Bark, Banana, Fana, Bo Bark, And so as we're coming in, and it got a smile from each one of us. And like, think about what smiling does for our mental health. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then all the energy in the room of everybody else, like knowing the song or knowing your song. It's almost like when you walk in the room, like, what's the word you want people to think of when they think of you?
Yeah.
Right.
I always say, like, when I walk in a room, I want people to think of joy and sunshine and happiness and knowing that they have the ability and I'm here to support you. That's what I want. I want to bring joy. It's why, like, even my branding colors, like my main color is yellow because everything's intentional, right? And that's part of the hug it out way. How are you living the hug it out way?
Yeah.
Big part of that is who you are.
Love
right?
It.
Yeah.
That goes to
all right.
Hillary, this is so interesting to me. I wanna dive more into what you do And can you tell us what is the name or what is your website? Because I'd like to put it on here on the chat.
Sure. It's
for everybody to see.
HillaryRusso.com, HillaryRusso. It's 1 L, 2 S's. And HillaryRusso.com. That's my main website. You can find everything there from, training if you're interested in learning more about havening to become a trainer. And look, I've trained doctors and nurses and teachers and first responders, everyone in the area that you can think of that's looking to put these tools into their own personal life first, or maybe even bring it into their professions, because think about the different ways that we can bring this beautiful technique in to different classes, whether it's social emotional learning tools or in the corporate sector to be more productive, but also more happy. Like happiness is going to create more productivity, right? So,
exactly. It's a long game.
Yeah.
It's the long game.
And it is. And that's something like I learned about, like the reason I got into this work, really, I mean, I was a full-time media professional, and I'm still in media. Obviously, I'm still a health and wellness journalist. I still have my podcast, Holistically Speaking. But part of this is like, I didn't have the tools to know how to self-regulate when I was covering very intense stories, when I was hearing people's stories and having to share it and broadcast it out. So I learned tools over time to help me self-regulate. And then I realized I want to help other people self-regulate. So it's not just about broadcasting out, it's broadcasting in.
So as a leadership consultant for corporate America, I've found how important that emotional intelligence is. EQ gets a lot of talk. It's been out for about 30 years, but I don't think it gets the attention it deserves. But you're talking specifically, your techniques are such a great way to be able to practice emotional intelligence, because I hear a lot of people say emotional intelligence is important and here's what it is, but they rarely do they say, how do you cultivate it? It's almost like you have it or don't. And I think,
then what?
right. Well, I think what you're saying is there are ways to increase your emotional intelligence. We all know how to increase our IQ, but none of us are taught very well how to increase our EQ, our emotional intelligence, which is way more important than IQ when it comes down to it. So I love that you got practical and accessible techniques to increasing my EQ, my emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
That's right. I mean, and then that brings it back to you, right? Because look, we're more than our numbers. We're more than our grades. We're more than our address or our waistline or our income. Those are things, again, that really deal with more of the other kind of intelligence, right? IQ maybe is equated to that. Emotional intelligence is, what are you doing to serve yourself? How are you opening yourself up to be open-minded and learn and grow and process and really, like as my father used to say, and I love this quote and I use it all the time, and it will be in the book if it's not like the first quote in the front of the book. You have to surround yourself with people that massage your neurons. You don't always want to be around people that do the same thing, right?
Say it again, it's so important.
Surround yourself with people who massage your neurons. Stephen A. Russo, may he rest in peace. I love my dad, but he's with me every day. And everyone in my family really knows that quote, and we use it a lot. But I think about it every time I'm collaborating, connecting. It's not just about talking shop and talking about what you do. It's being open to hearing what other people do and sharing your skills. Like kind of going back to that whole Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill. You can't do it all yourself. Don't expect that you have everything to do everything yourself. You might be able to, but rely on being open to connecting to others to build that collaboration, going back to those CCs, right? What was it? It was connection and contribution equals collaboration, right? And we're all part of a collective in this world. Yeah.
There's another C.
I love C's.
The C's are great.
That Napoleon Hill made, even Arnold Schwarzenegger says there is no such thing as a self-made man. There's no such thing as a self-made. But think about just physically, you can't bring yourself into the world. You might be able to take yourself out, but you can't bring yourself into the world. It takes at least two to bring you in. And
that is true.
Humans can't even survive the first 5 years of their life without a bunch of people. So there is no such thing as a self-made man. Just think about yourself as a baby. People walk away from you, you're gone, right? So and by the way, what's his name? This another psycho wonderful guy. I can't think of his name all of a sudden, but he says the key to happiness is giving credit where credit is due. So people at the top of their game who have succeeded in ways most of us couldn't imagine, There's a bunch that are unhappy and a few that are happy. And the ones that are happy are the ones that gave credit to the people who got them there. Didn't say, I did it
Yeah.
myself. I did it my way.
Absolutely.
So Sinatra got
Yeah,
wrong.
you did it your way. Another Sinatra song.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so true, though. I mean, we have a responsibility to ourselves. I mean, obviously, when we're adults and we're fully developed in our brains, right, in our mid-20s, we then have a responsibility. And I think I hear this a lot, especially as a trauma-informed practitioner, that there's a lot of a blame game going on. Oh, my parents did this. Oh, this happened to me when I was younger. Okay, that sucks with a royal S. However, when you get to a point when you are now an adult, you have the responsibility to work on your healing. You have a responsibility to build a better relationship. You have a responsibility to reach out with people who can support you in that area if you're having trouble doing it yourself. That's what it's all about. When you're a child, it's up to the responsibility of the parents and the guardians to make sure that that child feels safe. And again, it always goes back to safety, right? Where's your safe haven? You have a responsibility as an adult to create that.
Yeah, and there's a gradual release of responsibility, just like in teaching. I mean, every parent is a teacher as well, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I think there's always work to be done on both sides to be able to release that responsibility, and then to provide opportunities as a parent, to have your children build resilience, to help them process through things, give time. Wait time is so important, but then there's always that work of becoming an adult. And in many ways, I haven't become an adult yet, and I'm still working on it.
Well,
So-
and I think that's part of it too, Dan. Like, you're an adult, but never lose sight of play. Play is so important. When I share that, like I did this thing a couple years back called the Brain Candy Challenge, and it's the name of my newsletter, and I'm building my Substack on it as well. The brain candy jar is filled with the different things you need in the everyday, right? Much like the mental health toolbox, but that doesn't sound fun. So it's a brain candy jar, right? And part of that is to be able to play. And I know you play every day. Like, you're an unbelievable teacher. I've had a chance to witness what you do, how you share,
Oh, thanks.
and being who you are and bringing elements of like little Dan, younger Dan that still wants to get out in the playground and play is what makes you a great teacher, a great dad, a great partner, a great person. And when we lose sight of play, we're forgetting about that younger part of ourselves that really wants to be present.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Well,
So
speaking of
5 minutes.
I was just going to say, speaking of play, we're going to just finish something. So Hillary,
Hold on,
I
Dan.
know. Yeah. Go ahead,
I
Mojo.
got to read this because Hillary gave us this beautiful HUG acronym. I'm a huge acronym fan. I love acronyms. So you used HUG, and my favorite acronym, bar none, is play. And here's the acronym I made out of play: PLAY. Pretend, which is unleashing your curiosity and I'm unleashing your imagination. Pretend. L is laugh, which is built right into the stuff you do. Laughter, right? A is ask. That's that curiosity that's built into you. The childlikeness is curious, right? Just asking, what else? What if? And Y is yield. And yield has two definitions in my mind. One is yield as to let go and let God, I like to say. But the other is yield is also it's like a harvest. You get a yield from the fruit of the seeds that you sow. And so pretend, laugh, ask, and yield. If I could do that every day and tap into that childlikeness, not childishness, there's a big difference. Childishness is immature. Childlikeness is my best self. So your HUG and my play, that's like, boom.
All right. So I just took all of those acronym words and put them together. That's how I generated this. Well, that I love this one. Like, that one's really good. But I also love this one. And it just came, look at that.
That could be a little inappropriate.
Well, yeah. So maybe we go with this one. Like, this is the person just like dancing to the beat of their own drum, which is kind of exciting. So what do you think about going with that one?
Well, hugging it out is really about a self-hug, isn't it?
Oh, self-hug, yes.
Ooh, yes. Let's go.
Right. So it's a self-hug.
I'm glad you reminded that. Yeah. You can hug it out with yourself.
I'm going to put that first. Self-hug.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Because it's really like, how are you embracing yourself? Right. How often do we embrace ourselves? How often do you get to pretend and laugh and ask and yield? How often do you get to laugh and understand and be grateful for yourself? Right? So put in like self-hug.
So good.
One showed up. I'm trying to get back there.
Oh yeah, they're in there.
This is the thing about generative AI is it's putting all of these things together. Like I love this one.
That's cute.
Oh, that's it. That's the
this
one.
Joy. I think that's got to be the one.
Yeah, it's play, it's laughter,
Oh, I
it's
like
hugging.
that.
It's
Everything.
cartoon.
All there, baby.
And they're hugging the pillow. See, this is just how thoughts become things, and also Chrome tabs, but also thoughts become art, and
Yes.
conversations become something created.
I love that little image.
Yeah. Before I play
Is it the one with the little girl on the
Yep.
couch?
Yes,
Yep.
that's the one.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
like
put it up in the chat, Mosa. And we
I'ma
have
put
a
it up.
hard. I'm gonna put it up. We have a hard shutout at in 2 minutes, but I just wanted to thank you, Hillary, for coming and being our guest. And over to you, Mojo, to play us out as I'm getting this in the Jumbotron, our little image for the day.
I thought we were drawing. I brought all my colors.
We were gonna draw. Yeah, I mean, so this is the prompt. So your assignment, everybody, is to draw this. Here, I gotta get it in the Jumbotron. I'll show it before we leave, and then you just go to Chat Mosa, draw it, and then please take a picture of it or draw it digitally and put it on social media. But Mojo, over to you, so we can be respectful of everybody's time. And here we go.
So to end where we began with gratitude. Gratitude is what the very beginning of this conversation was about. And it's accessible to everybody. It's free. It's in abundance. You can never run out, right? And just some people say, well, what do I have to be thankful for about me? I said, you've got 1 trillion cells in your body, several trillion neurons in your brain. Start with one of those and just see how far that gets, right? Because every single one of them is doing a job that's necessary for you to be you. So you got lots of reasons to be grateful, even the breath, your air that you're breathing. So I'm going to end with a song of gratitude. This will be our goodbye, but thank you to Hillary. Thank you to the PEAR coin community. Thank you to Dan and awesome Mary. And I'm going to give a little thanks to my creator, because without him, I wouldn't be here, because I am not a self-made man. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. There's a hug. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything, everything. Your goodness goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing the goodness of God. I will sing the goodness of God. Oh yes, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Thank you, everybody, and go make a
Yay.
beautiful now. Thanks for coming.